That looks about good. Thanks.
That was awesome, man.
My name is Raymond Geisler, and I want to welcome you to the 3rd Annual Freedoms and Solutions Rally, hosted by Victoria We Are Change out of British Columbia, Canada. We are here today to practice our freedom of assembly and speech while we still have it. Like many of the speakers you will hear today, I am going to focus this talk on political solutions to some of the many problems created and aided by our so-called federal and provincial leaders. Personally, I am mad as hell about the direction our country is taking on nearly every front. I implore my fellow citizens to become fully educated to the monumental failings of our alleged democracy. This rally today is also in response to the global crackdown on peaceful protests through excessive police force and the criminalization of dissent. On a personal level, I hope this speech is an accurate expression of my love for humanity. More than likely, this is the reason why each of us are here today. We know that the answers to our problems must be rooted in expressions of love, respect, and responsibility for one another. I believe that I am speaking to the civil-minded choir today, the students of history and the lovers of life. We know that we are living in an amazing and often frightening time, this age of global fascism. But we are here today to show our resistance and to stand up for what is sacred. We want the control of our future back. Most of us here today have come to the conclusion that our federal government is not trustworthy. And for those that think the NDP or the Trudeau Liberals are here to save us, you are gravely misinformed.
Yeah!
Put simply, for 99% of us, our democracy is broken and on life support. A healthy democracy takes a hell of a lot more work than merely putting an X on a ballot every few years. I have come to realize that the concept of democracy is both the solution and perhaps the main problem in Canadian politics today. The type of democracy we have today is called totalitarian democracy, a system of government whose citizens, while granted the right to vote, have little or no participation in the decision-making process of the government. The system of democracy we need is both direct and open, where the citizens decide how they should be governed. Thomas Jefferson said that when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. I'll take an extra large order of liberty, please. A good example of this tyranny is the surveillance state being put into place today. Think smart meters and cell phones. This is not to suss out homegrown terrorists, as our government would have us believe. We are incrementally being trained to accept and love our police state. A solution. We must send a loud and clear message to the loved ones in the various police and military outfits to make sure that they know that they are actively taking part in the building and maintaining of a cruel, oppressive, and unreasonable system of governance. We can extend this plea to the government-funded and muzzled scientists. We need them to speak out about what we are doing to the environment due to the tar sands projects. We need them to speak out about what is being sprayed on us from the chemtrails behind military planes. We need them to speak out about the energy sources available from the atmosphere above us. We need the truth.
Yeah!
Another disgusting trend in Canada today is the recent love affair between the Harper government and the State of Israel. As most of you know, according to international law, Israel's illegal treatment of the Palestinian peoples is a long-standing and systematic project of colonization and ethnic cleansing. The fairly recent Canadian Parliamentary Coalition to Combat Anti-Semitism made its intentions clear, that any criticism of Israel's foreign policy by academics and media persons will be branded as anti-Semitic, and thus the incitement of hatred. You likely remember British MP George Galloway being banned entry into Canada due to his outspokenness of Israel's apartheid treatment of the Palestinian peoples. This is not the peaceful and loving Canada we were once proud of. Another example of Canada's fall from grace to that of a pro-war, anti-international law status is due to speaking engagements by senior U.S. Bush administration officials who have admitted to war crimes. Bush, Cheney, and Rice should have been arrested upon entry into Canada for the crimes against humanity due to this latest war of terror based on the 9/11 lie. However, in an attempt to be fair, I believe our governments have a tremendous amount of pressure on them from the international financial centers to continue to consolidate power and to strip the citizens of having any real influence in decision making. Our problems are not Canadian-born, they are international. But this does not mean that we cannot discover and try to implement Canadian-born solutions. We need politicians with backbones. I don't have any children of my own, but I often think about how I would or how we should teach our children a more accurate version of reality than the one they get on TV and in schools. At what age should they learn that our governments lie to us and cannot be trusted? For example, at what age should children be taught that 9/11 was an inside job? These words, by the way, are dedicated to my nieces, Emily and Katie. Uncle loves you very much. The more pessimistic of you might suggest that I am sugarcoating reality, that perhaps the New World Order is so firmly set in place that resistance is futile, a waste of time. I can't say for sure if that is the case or not, but I'll be damned if I ever say that there is no hope, that you should just go home and practice being a slave.
Never! Never!
Robert Louis Stevenson said that we should not judge each day by the harvest we reap, but by the seeds that we plant. We are planting seeds today, and we will continue to plant for the future we wish to leave to our children and grandchildren. It might not seem like it, but there are reasons to feel and to be optimistic today. It was not too many years ago that most people would roll their eyes if you brought up the problems in the official conspiracy theory of 9/11. That is not the case today. People are waking up, a little bit too slow for my liking, but we are waking up. People are organizing and movements are springing up and spreading. History is being written before our very eyes, and this event today is one of the authors in our story.
Yeah!
People are seeking ways to resist this corporate mindset so prominent in governments today. The Canadian Idle No More movement, for example, is a powerful and frightening threat to the government. The government's response seems to be to bring bigger guns to the party. This is the time that we will prove our integrity, our mindful livingness, our advantage over the greed and fear-based systems. We are showing our brothers and sisters dressed in riot gear that we are their brothers and sisters. In times of tyranny, the state loses its power when the military refuses their orders.
That we know of.
And what about the Occupy movement? It went global. That was fun. This rally today is literally the child of that experience. I only wish I could predict the future activist adventures 2 years from now. We are a leaderless, bottom-up swell that will one day be celebrated for generations to come.
Yes!
Another example of tides turning in our favor is the anti-Monsanto and GMO foods movement.
Yeah!
People that were previously apolitical are now in a tizzy because they learned that they are eating poison. And then they learned that the medical establishment is our enemy as well. The government will not surrender its power and return it to the people on their own. But through dedicated, peaceful, non-compliance, and civil disobedience, they will be forced to concede defeat. This is when we will gain true participation in the decision-making process in our governments and in our lives. This is what we are seeking, and that is how I believe it will happen. I want to thank the organizers of this event and to encourage activists taking part in social justice causes worldwide. And I want to highlight the importance of keeping love and hope in your hearts, because we will have no chance whatsoever of overcoming these challenges if we do not. Thank you.